Prince Harry's time training in Afghanistan has changed Duke of Sussex a lot. The Duke of Sussex spent 10 years in the army. Prince Harry served in the army for 10 years, undertaking 2 tours of Afghanistan, during which he said he killed 25 soldiers. The Duke of Sussex shared the realities of his time in the army in his memoir Spare. And during his interview with Anderson Cooper, explaining, "It got me out of the spotlight from the UK press. I was able to focus on a purpose larger than myself, to be wearing the same uniform as everybody else, to feel normal for the first time in my life. I accomplished some of the biggest challenges that I ever had. I was a really good candidate for the military. I was a young man in my 20s suffering from shock," the 38-year-old continued. Though Harry speaks positively of his time in the army, it's likely that his stints in Afghanistan changed him forever, and could even have an impact on his relationship with his and Meghan's children, Archie and Lilibet. We spoke to psychologist and trauma expert Robert Comyn of the Beekeeper House about how Prince Harry's time in the army could have impacted him. Robert explains that trauma and PTSD are common impacts of having experienced stressful, life-changing events. When we talk about trauma, what we are really talking about is an event or series of events that are so stressful that it impacts an individual's mental well-being and ability to function normally in their day-to-day lives, he says. It's a life-changing experience that can also affect people around the individual, such as family members. Post-traumatic stress disorder is well known as a form of mental health disorder caused by experiencing an extremely stressful event, such as serving in the military in a conflict zone, Robert continues. However, complex trauma differs from PTSD because it stems from a sustained period of separate, individual traumatic events. Robert explains. In Harry's case, this could also include his attendance at boarding school, the grief of losing his mother, growing up in the spotlight and being part of the royal family and British consciousness. Harry said during an interview with Michael Strawn that he believes he suffered from post-traumatic stress injury following the death of his mother, Princess Diana, in 1997. The Duke says he tried to reframe his experience as PTSD as much as possible, to say it's an injury because you can actually heal from it. Robert says trauma and PTSD can manifest a variety of changes in a person and impact their behavior as a parent. PTSD can manifest as significant changes in how someone behaves, including their ability to process and regulate emotions, communicate their feelings, reactions, and moods, and form meaningful connections with others, Robert says. Trauma can also present as impulsivity, anxiety, depression, and other negative effects, as well as the need to soothe these feelings that we can't change, which can result in alcohol or substance abuse or other behavioral issues, he adds. Robert explains that trauma can also have an impact on a person's parenting if they have children. They may have difficulty bonding or experience unhealthy attachment styles to their children, he says. Research has also shown that parents who have experienced significant traumatic events have higher than average levels of general and parental stress, which can play out as an impatient temperament and a lack of emotional control. It's always important to demonstrate clear compassion and support for someone struggling with trauma, Robert says. Let them know they are loved, and you are there for them. This can be tough, especially if their behavior upsets you or others close to them. However, there are tools for managing trauma to improve mental health outcomes. For example, research has shown that cognitive behavioral therapy in combination with mindfulness practices can be especially beneficial for this. The Duke of Sussex has opened up about his fractured relationship with the royal family in his memoir, Spare. But he has remained close to his late mother's family, the Spencers. Prince Harry has 2 maternal aunts from Diana's side, Lady Sarah McCorquodale and Lady Jane Fellows, as well as his uncle Charles Spencer. In the epilogue of his book, Harry details the moment he took wife Meghan to see his mother's grave at her childhood home, Althorpe, near the 25th anniversary of Diana's death last year. The Duke describes him and Meghan getting into a boat to row across to the private island on the estate which marks Diana's final resting. Uncle Charles came down to the water's edge, gave us a little shove. We waved to him, and to my 2 aunts. Bye. See you in a bit. Gliding across the pond, I gazed around at Althorpe's rolling fields and ancient trees. The thousands of green acres where my mother grew up, and where, though things weren't perfect, she'd known some peace. Harry's warm relationship with his aunts and uncles was also evident. When he and William unveiled a statue of Diana in the gardens at Kensington Palace in July 2021, to mark what would have been their mother's 60th birthday. As the Duke arrived at the unveiling, he could be seen speaking warmly with his aunts Lady Sarah and Lady Jane, as well as sharing laughs with Charles. Thank you for watching. If you like our video, would you please help us like, share and subscribe our channel. Wish you happy to see our videos. Thank you very much.